even share this with you.
I love this. I love when this happens.
I had to decide if I was going to retire. I don't know how I'm ever going to make this work. It felt really bleak, but I probably won't do that again. I'm actually 100% sure. I haven't told you this, introspection. That feels like a new boundary. Guys, welcome to the first episode of G's Journal.
Dun, 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 dun.
So this is going to be a new YouTube segment type video where basically you will get the insight, the introspection of everything that is going on in my world in a very personal, vulnerable way.
I am going to ask some questions to prompt, because a lot happens in a month.
Yes.
We do these each month. A lot happens. I can barely remember what happened last week. So.
Yeah, a lot's changing in my world constantly. As you guys know, it's harder for me to do YouTube content with how sacred my family time is, but I still want to stay connected to you guys. So we kind of just thought of a different idea to bring you more into my life so I can, connect with you guys just in a different way. So basically, yeah, we hope to sit down every single month, go through the month, to have vlog snippets, all sort of stuff inside. It is going to be a different format, so please let me know what you guys think and feel. I think it's going to be a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
If you do love more day-to-day, like what I do in my day, we film so much of that content on Instagram and TikTok, so definitely go there.
And that's heaps more real time. Like we're pumping those out all the time. It's very raw. You film yourself waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
But this is like a bit more structured and like
yeah.
what's been going on the last month.
So I'm really excited to do this with you, but before we get into the video, I do want to say a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. As you guys know, they are a frequent sponsor on my channel. And if you guys need a domain or a website, look no further. So basically, I had my very first website on Squarespace, and they are so easy to use. They're so amazing for digital products. That's what I primarily did at the start. And also, they're just really great for you to have a space on the internet that is completely yours. So I keep telling Ellie she needs to get a website, like every single.
I know. I actually have been watching some. They've got heaps of tutorials on like their platform and how to set it up. So.
You would be fine. If I can do it, you can do it. And it's basically just a place where you completely own that section on the internet, and you can put out blog posts, you can have extra content, you can, put your services, your courses, your products, anything you want. I personally like getting my website, and I felt like it established me a bit more, and I definitely recommend look into it. And of course, as they're sponsoring this video, I do have a code for you. I'll chuck it on the screen and put the link in the show notes. I mean,
the description. She was just recording podcast episodes. Can you tell?
All right, should we get into it?
Let's get into it. Let's also discuss elephant in the room, the quality of this camera.
I was like, what's the elephant in the room? So, I said to Elle, we kind of were making the decision, do we keep doing YouTubes? And this is what this change is about, is I want to really put a lot of love into this platform, and I want it to feel different. And I knew a part of that was like, we need to upgrade how we do things. So I got a brand new film camera.
She's very nice.
She's very nice. So I hope you enjoy this upgraded quality. This is all for you guys. I wanted it to feel like a different experience. And it's funny because like over my lifetime, I've gone through different seasons of being like on a professional camera and then just using my iPhone because it's easy. And this just feels like the new evolution of like what we're wanting to achieve and get into.
And I think that's more you owning that, like the vlogs have slowly evolved to just being a lot of business BTS. And I feel like we're just owning that that's just what you are now. Like you're a boss and you're a business owner.
Thanks, Ellie.
You're welcome. It's a obviously July, and at the start of July we did do a few future stuff again, which is awesome. We did that at the start of the year, did it just then for a little mid-year reset. I'd love for you to talk about like what you came to after doing it for the second time.
Like my biggest realizations?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my biggest realization is just how far that I have come this year in strengthening my boundaries. That was a huge thing, and if you guys listened to the podcast, you would know last year my boundaries were not strong, and it's really just I had the evolution of having Ivy, going back to work, and also that previous year, so like 2021, saying yes to a lot of things that were really exciting and a really amazing opportunity. But then it got to 2022, I had a new baby, I was just getting back into work, I had said yes to a lot of things, and I actually really struggled with my mental health, and I really struggled with being a new mum. And I was very open about that at the end of the year. And so my biggest realization was like, I need to get to a place where I feel good in this new season of being a working mum and feeling like a good mum too, because I really struggled with like, at the end of last year, I just was like, I don't know how I'm ever going to make this work. It felt really bleak. And then so that was just my biggest thing, and my biggest realization was like, I didn't have boundaries put in place. I said yes to a lot of things. I didn't know my own capacity, so I would just go and go and go until I burnt out. And previously that was fine because I could just like have the weekend off or like go on a holiday with Tim. But when you have a baby, you can't. Like, there's no holidays. We love you, Abby. So it was a really good like learning situation where I had to be really strict with my boundaries. And like my motto for the last 6 months has been, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. And I've had to say no to a lot of people that I love, to a lot of exciting things. And I've had to have like my blinkers on. And it's been hard to navigate that and to understand that. But yeah, do it for your future self again, I realized how strong I have been in my boundaries and how proud of myself I was.
That's so good. I'm so glad because
would you agree that that's like my biggest evolution?
Definitely. I remember having to be the person that was like, is that really a hell yes? And you were like, oh, I shouldn't have said yes. And that was just when you were practicing and practicing, and the last 6 months you've been so solid with it.
Yeah, because there was like a in-between time where I was like, oh, I'll just do it, it's good for the business, or it's like blah, blah, blah. And I've had to be like so strong in that. Yeah. I actually want to share an insight with you guys. I haven't even shared this with you.
I love this. I love when this happens. You go through so many processes and thoughts that there's always something that you haven't told me and like you forget about.
I know.
You're like, oh, this major thing happened.
I've got news. Well, I guess I have like the next evolution of my boundaries. I even noticed. So the weekend that just went, me and Ivy. Oh my god. I mean, me and Ellie. Me and Ellie. Ellie is basically my child. Me and Ellie, we had 2 appearances. We went on the weekend, so an appearance with Elite Sups, which was very exciting because we collabed on a brand new product. Not really collab, but they have an exclusive flavor of our pre-workout, which is so exciting. And it is really exciting for us to have Elite as a wholesale partner. So it was really cool. It was really cool meeting you guys. And that was kind of like a deliverable that was locked in literally last year when we had decided on this. And it's funny because I went into Cooper on Monday and I was like, the weekend was really good. It felt really good. I had Ellie there and it was definitely fine. It was great. It was so good, but I probably won't do that again.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think it's different to like when we did the rebirth event.
Oh, so different.
And I saw the community and like, I'll do that again.
Yeah.
But I had like the thing of like me doing appearances as an influencer.
Yeah, that's what it still felt like. Hey?
Yeah, I'm like, ooh, no, that doesn't feel good anymore, and that feels like a new boundary that I get to feel into. And I'm having these beautiful awareness moments of my evolution and just like knowing what feels good to me and really stepping into, like you said, of no, I'm actually like, I'm a CEO, like a business owner, and that feels better to me than being an influencer.
Yeah.
And like leaning into that identity. And I know that you're probably thinking, I'm like overthinking it, but it's like these little moments of awareness where I'm like, oh, that felt fine, but I know if I continue to do that, that would start to feel not great. So I'm going to create that awareness now and be like, that's probably like the last time I do that.
Yeah, love that. You are the co-founder, and it was an appearance as the co-founder, but there was still that element of like meet and greet sort of influencer.
Yeah. Which was like beautiful that I, used to do years ago. And don't get me wrong, it's so amazing to like meet you guys and to have the community. But I feel like I can do that in different ways now.
Yeah, like you can facilitate that in your own
brand.
For example, Rebirth, which is the R&Z community, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can do that, and we have done that with NHCO recently, which was amazing too.
Yeah, so it's like, it just feels different, but having that awareness, and it was really beautiful because I was like, oh wow, my boundaries are really strong, and it feels really good.
Yeah, that's so good. I'm so proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Speaking of, actually, I feel like Naked Harvest as a business and as a brand is really evolving and has matured a lot recently. Do you feel there's like something you can pinpoint that has caused that, or do you think it's as a result of you and Cooper, or do you think talk us through it?
Yeah, mature. That's really cool. Great insight, Ellie.
Thank you. As someone who's been around it since day one, I definitely can see that. Yeah, huge growth.
Well, I think there has been a lot of changes in Naked Harvest, even from the start of the year. So you guys would probably notice that Mel doesn't work at NH anymore. It's just like the hardest situation. I know she's very open about this, but she had a family member be really sick and pass away. And this, has been going on for a long time that she's known about this. And so like she's been dealing with this behind the scenes, for a couple of years, and it's just been the most heartbreaking thing to, witness and see her go through. And it makes me so emotional just thinking about it. But, she had to make a really hard decision at the start of the year when this family member was unwell, and it was starting to impact her so much mentally, and she just didn't feel not capable, because she certainly was. She was always giving 100%, but it was just starting to impact, her so much, and she just made such a hard decision to leave NH to spend more time with this family member, and so sadly they passed away. And so she has just been going through the roughest time, and that obviously, if you're an OG NH lover, you would know how important Mel has been to the business, and she literally started as my assistant before we started NH. So, and she's such an incredible, talented human. She's family to me. So it was so hard to see her going through that for the last couple of years, and then she made the really hard decision to leave NH because it was just mentally, getting too much, and so understandable. And I've seen her quite a few times, after, and she's currently in Europe. And yeah, she just needs that time, and it's so understandable. And I know that, our paths will cross again, and they can't, our bond, our relationship, everything, I know our paths will cross again, or if not specifically working for each other. I just know she's such an incredible human, and she'll just do incredible things, and I'll be like cheering her on. Absolutely.
She's still always so support. Like NH is still her baby too. Like she's so in it. Like, yeah.
And so that happened in, I think, like February.
Yeah.
And so that was obviously a huge transition because, you know, she was such a key role in NH. So she left and we didn't have anyone to replace her for quite a while. So I was, you know, stepping into her role as well as doing my own role. And that was a fun time, wasn't it, Ellie?
I think that's where the boundaries, they really need to be solidified.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's like I believe, you know, life happens for me, and it was actually, now that I can look back in hindsight, it was actually such a key moment for me because my boundaries got even stronger because they had to, because I was literally running out of time.
Yeah.
And so my boundaries got even stronger, and it also, I haven't told you this, introspection, again, but I don't know if you noticed, because I had to, you know, step into her role and keep doing my role and all the things, I found like a new love for Naked Harvest. Like I found like this beautiful new creativity for Naked Harvest, which you would have seen in my collection.
Yes.
I feel like it really came out then, and then like what we have planned moving forward. So it's been like this bittersweet thing. I'm really proud of how I handled that. Because 100% like if this happened a couple of years ago, I would have crumbled and been a complete mess. Because she was my right-hand woman, you know?
Yeah.
And so to see me be able to not only be capable, but just like how I acted in that situation and how I was able to take on so much and carry forward and, you know, make certain decisions. And yeah, it was a huge growth moment for me, and I feel like it was a huge growth moment for NH because also then it meant that certain other team members had to take on more, and I really got to see their growth.
That's so true.
I truly love to see lessons and growth even in really shitty moments. Yeah, so there has been a lot of changes, you know, in the business, and then moving through that, we do now have a new marketing director, which has been really exciting, and it's someone who has actually worked in NH previously. She actually mentored Mel last year. So she has come in the business full time, and it just feels like she's like slotted in.
Yeah. Crazy.
And it feels really good, and it's you know, worked out in a very beautiful, unexpected, like if you told me this at the end of last year, I would have been like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. And you know, from there we also have had some other people started working in NH, and the team has grown so much. And I just feel like we have evolved as a business. We've had to.
Yes.
So that has been a really cool, incredible journey.
Yeah, I think it's kind of gonna filter through as almost the same topic, because I noticed that the girls changed the IG handle from Rise and Conquer podcast to just Rise and Conquer.
Did you notice that?
I did. Did anyone else notice that? And that's kind of what stemmed this. That to me shows the evolution of RNC itself. And obviously you just launched Find Your Voice, the newest course, and I think that sort of shows that you're serious about there being a course offering as like Rise and Conquer's thing, as well as it being on the podcast platform. Can you share where you see Rise and Conquer going, or you're not even sure yet?
I'm actually 100% sure.
Perfect.
I don't know if I can fully share it though.
No, you don't have to.
I think Jamie would kill me.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She would be like, stop telling everyone everything. You can try and read between the lines, and this is fun.
It's more so even just acknowledging that it was originally only your passion project as a podcast, and like now it's definitely not.
Well,
and now you have a podcast course.
I think it's really interesting because I have worked with my own coach this year, and I always saw Rise and Conquer. So if you guys don't know, I have Naked Harvest, which is my all natural supplements business. And then I have Rise and Conquer, which started off just as a podcast. And then we introduced courses, and now we've got exciting products coming, and it's a whole big thing. And it's really interesting because I always just saw Rise and Conquer as like my hobby. Before Ivy, I would do Rise and Conquer on the weekends. So in my mind, it felt like my side hustle, like my hobby. And because I just enjoy it so much, I absolutely love it. Like, I'm a qualified life coach, but I love just talking about how I'm processing things. Like, this whole video is basically like a mini teaching.
It's your journal as well.
It's my journal, yeah. and that's how I do life. Self-development for me has just given me so many tools and so many things, and I love sharing that with my audience, and that's what Rise and Conquer is. And yeah, I really saw it as a side hustle, and it's so funny because it's literally like, it's a 7-figure business.
Yeah, you've also got like 3 employees.
I have 3 full-time employees, and like, still in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like a side hustle. I love doing it, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny because I actually had to make a really interesting choice last year where I had to decide if I was going to retire Rise and Conquer, or if I was going to continue it. And I had to make some really interesting choices. And it was last year that I made the decision, no, it's my passion project, I have to keep going, but I also have to set it up in a more sustainable way, so it's an actual business, and I like actually have help, and I don't just do it randomly on the weekend. And so that's where, we hired a Tia, and like all the things have come in. And it's really interesting though, because like we've gone I've started thinking about the next evolution of Rise and Conquer, and I really don't see us anymore as just a podcast. I really see Rise and Conquer as a self-development business and a self-development platform. And we use the podcast as, one of our channels, but I really had to stop thinking about it like that way. And that has just been like a really cool transition to see. I have been really kind of like Ellie said, like we've just launched Find Your Voice, which is a course all about podcasting, because we've been in the podcast industry for 5 years. We've topped the charts. It's one of our main marketing funnels. And it's funny because even when it was actually Jamie's idea to do Find Your Voice, and I was like, but what? Like, what? But she's like, we literally, industry leaders in the podcast, like, why wouldn't we tell people? Because people should start a podcast and, have the same success and do the same things. And I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because it's actually not really, like, it's your one course that isn't really self-development, but you also have the biggest passion for personal brand and that creativity and all that side of things. And it's so, you've now got you, Jamie, and Atia that are all experts in the different aspects of starting a podcast.
Yeah.
And people ask you for it.
And I think this is like the biggest takeaway is we need to stop putting ourselves and other people in boxes, because I feel like we limit ourselves so much. Like, I don't know, you might be watching this and maybe you're in a certain career, or maybe you're a personal brand, but you've like niched down to a certain niche. Like Ellie, you're like lifestyle, or maybe it's like the fitness and health thing. And then maybe you have these like intuitive pulls, and as humans, we are meant to evolve. Like, that's just inevitable. That's what we're meant to do. And so we start evolving, but because we have like put ourselves in this box and like identified with, oh no, but I'm this person. I'm the self-development girl and this is just a hobby. Or I'm this. We can limit our growth, and we can not intuitively listen to what we actually need next. And something I said on the podcast the other day is, I really hope that you guys, and this will be very, very on point for YouTube, I hope that, if you've been here from the beginning, you see my original vlogs. All I talked about was health and fitness. I did Wedgeshed. I was so a specific sort of niche, and now I'm sitting here talking about business or like just my insights or whatever. And it's like, I really hope in the next 10 years you also see me contradicting myself and being completely different, because to me, that's what success is. Me evolving is what success is. And that's why I'm trying to normalize it and be like, yeah, the podcast started out at this and it was literally a hobby, and now it's a self-development business. And like, let's normalize that. Let's normalize evolution and celebrate that.
I love it.
Guys, please let us know if you have liked this sort of video. We actually plan to do it more vlog style sometimes, so you'll come along with me to the office or throughout the day, and I can give you, insights throughout the day. But we're trialing it out, but this was just like super fun. And like I said, I'm being super vulnerable with you, so please be nice to me in the comments. I know this isn't the usual content, but embrace change. I know I am, and I hope you guys can too. But I love you so much. Thanks so much. If you're still here at the end, thanks so much. Any last words, Elle?
No, I'm just very proud, and I really enjoyed the overarching message of today of just embracing your evolution.
It's kind of weird we went there. But
I didn't realise that each thing would carry along, but it kind of makes sense. Hope you take something away from that. I know I did.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys. See you in the next video. Bye.